Hello, BookTube. Well, as you can see, I have not only one guest star, not only two guest stars, but three guest stars, and a tiny bit of Zach from the Brattle in the frame. we are actually. He is well and truly sick of us because, we're at the Brattle. We're on the third floor of the Brattle. Terra incognita to me. I know this building backwards and forwards. I've been here forever, but I never come up here because this is where the books cost money. And I am here with Mark Richardson of Richardson Reads, who I've not yet sufficiently driven off the platform. I'm here with Jason Harrigan, who I drove off the platform not once but twice, and Scott Danielson, who I drove off the platform.
I'm still on there. It's just I haven't published anything.
I'm hoping that this Boston trip will reignite the creative juices. And get everybody back on.
That'll keep you away.
So we got a bunch of books.
Fantastic.
And this is going to be a massive Brattle book haul, a collective Brattle book haul. So who should go first?
I think it's obvious first I need to say some of us have gone for quality and the kind of more inexperienced reader has gone for quantity. Just to get
the third floor
straight
off
the bat.
Straight off the bat. For those of you who have only heard about Jason Harrigan from me and have never actually seen him, he's an antiquarian book dealer. And as you can tell from his accent, he's from Utah. It's really, they make him strange out there. So he's on the third floor in seventh heaven. He knows all about these things. So why don't you
start on the end here?
Yeah.
So all right. So what I got here is a little collection of science fiction paperbacks. So I got Avram Davidson's Collected Fantasies. It's got O'er All the Seas with Oysters on here.
Fantastic.
Reader's Guide to Fantasy. I have the Reader's Guide to Science Fiction. I actually didn't know this existed, so I'm excited about that one. Where Late the Sweet Birds Sing, book I haven't read by Kate Wilhelm, who I like quite a bit.
Oh, you got the Alfred Bester.
Yeah, and the Alfred Bester Gollum 100, which a
digital
world, and a demon is released. Is that correct?
Look at the cover though. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
The cover art in that one.
Yeah, it's
Gollum
beautiful.
100,
Terrific. And then Walter Tevis, The Steps of the Sun. I really liked Mockingbird by him, so I saw this and I'll give it a shot. Memoir of Frederick Pohl. I actually haven't come across this either, so that's going to be good. And these two were I was thrilled to find these. I have one at home, William F. Wu, and this is the first time I've seen these in a store, so looking forward to those. Rumer Godden, In the House of Bree. I like this book. I've actually read this before, but look at this copy. I just love it. It's about nuns, right?
I'm in.
If he wants to add more. And then here's best science fiction stories of Brian W. Aldiss. And then last, I found this History of Astronomy by A. Panicook that I'm looking forward to reading. That's my stuff.
Very cool. Well, I was here earlier this week and got a bigger stack of books, but they're back in the hotel packed up ready for the flight home tomorrow. So I made a really rookie mistake as well, that I saw 3 books and I said, and you never hesitate when you're buying books, because I came back today and only 2 of the 3 are remaining, because Zach is one of the most gifted booksellers, I believe, in Massachusetts. Is that?
Could very well be.
Could very well be. Many people are saying it. But
I've heard one.
But he keeps saying it.
He hasn't thrown me out of
He
the shop
says it
yet,
every
so
week. So what I have here are 2 Arkham House editions from the kind of H.P. Lovecraft school. Lovecraft was really one of these authors who was in huge danger of being lost forever. And I think S.T. Joshi and a few other people kind of went to bat for him and stuck with putting together authorized copies of stuff that had been done, and standardized texts, accepted texts. And Arkham House, they started publishing, I believe, in the 1940s, but these editions are from the 1960s. Absolutely beautiful covers. So this is the Dunwich Horror and Others, the best of H.P. Lovecraft, and this one is again a fantastic cover. Again, 1968, I believe this one probably is. 1969, sorry, first edition, and this is H.P. Lovecraft and Others, which is kind of starting to build that idea of a Cthulhu mythos that spreads beyond the writing of H.P. Lovecraft. So you've got other authors in here, compiled by August Derleth again, who probably with S.T. Joshi was the guy most.
But Lovecraft was okay with that, right? He was okay with people inhabiting the Cthulhu mythos
Of,
in his own
of
lifetime.
course, and I mean, if you go back far, I mean, he's drawn inspiration from other people who went before. I mean, he was a huge admirer of Lord Dunsany and other authors like this. So there's all this crossover in this early stuff. But I think he's most associated with this idea of old gods and cosmic gods, and like he has become a kind of a cultural pop icon, I suppose, in a sense too. And I mean, I'm not going to go into it here. As we all know, there's issues with Lovecraft and some of the way he handles certain topics, but that's a video for another time. I like him. I read his stuff. Enjoy the art, not the artist. Next one, I've just literally picked this off the shelf again. This is August Derleth, and this is Who Knocks. This is an anthology. I'm just a sucker for these old anthologies. I really like, and this is 20 master pieces of the spectral for the connoisseur. So I mean, if there was ever a book made for me, this is it.
Yep.
And this is again edited with a forward by August Derleth. And in here you've got like Algernon and Blackwood, Lovecraft, Ray Bradbury, Theodore Sturgeon, Sheridan Le Fanu. So a lot of big hitters, and knowing Derleth, it's going to be good stories, good representative stories from each, because he knew his thing. And the last one finally was, I was downstairs and Steve said, if you go to the cart in the back left on the second floor and rummage around, you're going to see a copy of Stolen Lightning that hasn't got on the shelves yet, and is priced ready to go. And this is Daniel Lawrence O'Keefe. It's a social theory / history of magic, where he looks at magic through the lens of sociology, anthropology, that kind of things. Like the stuff I'm kind of interested, in the occult, like the cultural impact of why people believe things, why they practice things, and what effects that had on society. So this is a great little vintage paperback version of it. And there's Dr. Faustus on the front and indeed the back, making his pact with the devil. So that's my 4 little stack.
Am I correct in guessing that it took him as longer than it took him?
Oh,
longer
sorry,
to do
yeah,
4.9?
yeah.
I'm the same way.
I better practice on book 2.
He's a natural content creator.
Unlike some.
Well, I've got a huge stack of books. You would not know that I've been here 3 days in a row, and this is my 4th day. The first book is another example where you play along with the Brattle gods, and they will play along with you. I saw, once again, just like yesterday, I saw a book in a hardcover without a dust jacket in, basement shape that I don't really want it in this format. I want it either as a trade paperback or as a hardcover with a dust jacket. But you got to do it because the Brattle gods are watching. They're saying, how willing are you? So I found this thing. I don't know if you're going to be able to make it out here. This is E.W. Ives' biography of Anne Boleyn. And it is incredible. And also amazingly good reading, which you wouldn't expect. It's amazingly good reading. And when you go to any later book, Alison Weir, Carolee Erickson, whoever it is, if you chase down their notes on anything, it'll be just Ives. They just got it all from here. And so I got, this isn't the form that I want, but I got it anyway, just to grease the wheels. I especially love the climax, where Ives gets all the way to the downfall of Anne Boleyn. He gets all the way to the trial. He gets all the way to the execution. He gets the French swordsman lopping her head off. And then he gives you 4 pages about how it was all obviously false. He went to the attendance records for all of the places where her confederates, who were also executed, said that they had sex with her at this palace or this country house. And it's all wrong. It's all provably wrong. It was provably wrong at the time. So, but anyway, I found this. This is Martin Duberman, who did a great 1-volume biography of James Russell Lowell, and this is his book on Charles Francis Adams. Not Charles Francis Adams Jr., but Charles Francis Adams Sr.
Was that in any danger of being sold otherwise?
No, it's pure Boston stuff. But Charles,
He got this out of the dumpster. Let's just be clear here. Zach was like trying to dispose of it.
Nobody will buy this.
America actually owes him a lot, but I remember. But I found a gorgeous hardcover edition with a plastic covering on here. Somerset Maugham was really, really good at writing
That is
novels
nice.
that dish the dirt about his friends and their drinking habits and the wives that they swapped. And it bothered him. Anything that was in any way successful that he did bothered him. So he thought, well, what about a historical novel? That's what the respectable writers write. So he wrote a historical novel set in the Italian Renaissance. But I remember, I've only read it once, and I remember it being appallingly bad. But we'll give it another try. We'll see.
Okay, it
Penguin
made no
Classics.
sense.
Peter Green, a great classicist, a wonderful guy, who loves this shop. Loved it once upon a time. He did this translation for Penguin of the Poems of Exile, the volumes that the Roman poet Ovid was exiled to the Black Sea, as far away from Rome as you could get. And 500 years have passed since Anne Boleyn was executed. We know for a fact that she was executed on false charges. 2,000 years have passed since Ovid was exiled. We have no idea why. No idea why he was exiled. He didn't say. He said he saw something and he said something. Never described what it was. No one in Rome ever described what it was, but it was bad enough so that even though his friends were writing letters to the emperor saying, please bring him back, it's a disgrace all over the world that our foremost poet is in exile, Augustus refused to do it, and when he died, Tiberius also refused to bring him back home. And he kept writing. And Peter Green is great. And the other Penguin classic is Poems of George Herbert. I found the Poems of Andrew Marvell the other day here and realized when I saw this that I didn't have that either. I'm taking too long. Here we have hardcover of Bring Up the Bodies. Janet, if you're watching, we saw this yesterday and I said, no reason for me to get it. There's a UK hardcover of this that is gorgeous. This is not gorgeous. This is ugly. There's a UK hardcover that's gorgeous. I really want that one. But last night, a struggling little YouTube channel, I won't mention him, I don't want to embarrass him, but he is going to read this. And I have raised the specter that we could perhaps do a buddy read of this. This is the second volume in the Cromwell series.
Good luck to you.
So the first volume,
Hey, Judy.
Wolf Hall, is all about the fall of Cardinal Wolsey. The second volume is all about the fall of Anne Boleyn. And Thomas Cromwell, the main character in the three books, knows this. He knows, well, this is an era of my life that is characterized by the fall of Anne Boleyn. And then he knows, oh, this is an era of my life that is characterized by the fall of Cardinal Wolsey. And in the third book, he's thinking, what era of my life is this? It's all blurry because it's his downfall. But I love this, and now I have it. Then there's David Carradine. This is it's history in our time. Very big, very grand-sounding title. These are just book reviews. These are just book reviews. The book reviewers always do this kind of crap. It's always ridiculous. He did not have a grand plan. This is just the editor of the TLS saying, I've got 50 pounds burning a hole in my pocket. There's a new book on Lady Diana. Write me 5,000 words and it's all yours. But he's great. He's a great writer, so I'm glad to have
Can
him.
I just point out, I've got to get a flight at 6 p.m. tomorrow from Local Airport.
Sorry,
I've only like 24 hours left. Oh.
This is a lovely old illustrated volume of something that most people don't know exists. This is the second diary that Samuel Pepys kept.
Yeah.
He kept his famous diary for 10 years and then had that very touching entry at the end where he feared that keeping a diary by candlelight at night was killing his eyes. And so he has to stop when he doesn't want to. In the final entry of the diary that everybody knows, he says it feels like he's sending himself into the grave. But then later, the great thing about the original diary is that he was writing it purely for himself, saying things that you don't even think in your mind because you're so embarrassed of them. They're all there on the page. This is official. This was done forward-facing, but it's still interesting, I think. And I also got the letters of Samuel Pepys. This is a volume by a guy that does a really good job curating them. The stories of Louis Auchincloss. Every once in a while, about every 3 years, this shop will crop up for me out in the sale lot. All these are from the sale lot. A long shelf of the thin New York novels that Louis Auchincloss wrote. And I think, even for $1 a piece, I don't want all of these. But his short stories, I'll take. He was of a fading generation. The idea that if you came from old money, if you were boarding school mates with the head of your publishing company, then in between working at the bank, he will write short stories and polite novels, and he will publish them. That model's gone, but he was the last part of it. The Book Lovers Anthology.
Nice.
I'm here with a whole bunch of book
That's
lovers.
nice.
It's going around.
Yeah. Lovely.
This thing by Elizabeth Rawson. This is probably the find of the day. This is her survey. Not just this is the literature of the late Republic Rome, but it's not just Virgil and Horace and Ovid. She goes into everything. All of it, including a lot of the stuff that is not in Loeb Classical Library, astrological calendars and food preparation guides and whatnot. It's just I have only seen this in libraries and mentioned in bibliographies. I'm thrilled to have it. And then finally, again, Janet Workman, if you're watching, Janet was my guest here yesterday. There's Dermot McCullough's biography of Thomas Cranmer, which I saw. I had it in my hand yesterday and I didn't get it. And then I realized I love this author. I love the way he writes. And so I grabbed this. So there you go. That's me.
Here, you can fix it in post.
Oh, there we go.
Look at that. Oh my
it's
God.
gorgeous.
Talk about service.
Is this a case of the Brattle delivers?
Brattle delivered. Well, I was
Nice.
planning as a sort of surprise sting at the end of the video to ask the shop owner to fire Zach, but now I'm not going to. He can stay. I'm feeling munificent.
I'm thinking of leaving my CV here at this point. To be honest with you. Yeah.
Excellent.
And now,
I'm leaving a pause just so everybody can catch your breath. Good Lord.
Is it time for a coffee? Is it too early? Or a beer? Guinness?
Maybe
Something?
supper. So I got Tudor Cornwall by A.L. Rouse, writer. I think I'm the last person who likes anymore, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
I like him
pretty
too.
much.
He's really good on the page.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
So Elizabethan stuff. And this I couldn't believe because I've never seen this. Richard H. O'Kane, The True Story of America's Most Daring World War II Submarine by Her Captain. So he has a stake in that description. It's Clear the Bridge. Beautiful copy. So something new to me. Something that's not new to me. Without a dust jacket, but I don't really care in this case. Mathiassen's American Renaissance, sort of a standard, what you would say, critical, not really critical, sort of a critical historical study.
Critical, historical, critical, appreciative. The
Yeah,
amazing
maybe
thing is
that.
how wonderful it is to read. You
Yeah.
see it. You see battered copies in yard sales. You
This is
never
actually
know.
good copy. I just doesn't have, I don't care about dust jacket. This I know the author, but I've never seen the book before. The Awakening of the Greek Historical Spirit by Chester G. Starr. So we used his textbook for ancient history when I was in college, and I've never seen this. And this guy, I've never heard of this guy. No, I have heard of
He's
this
practically at
He's
this
some,
table.
he's some Irish scribbler.
Oh, I
I'm
thought he
not
was
entirely
Scottish.
sure.
Here, can I put this back?
Could be Scottish. Heaney.
This is his letters, which ought to be interesting. I've read some of his stuff between him and Ted Hughes, but this is an uncorrected proof. But this is, and I like the cover.
Just come out last year.
Did
Yeah,
it?
it's 2023. Yeah, yeah.
Jason and I are both resisting the urge to say, "I know his people," or better yet, since he's dead, we're tempted to look at the book and say, "Oh, he looks good."
I've heard him speak his own words, so that's good enough for me.
And speaking of
And his
A.L.
wife
Rouse,
is a good author on mythology. She there's a lovely little book she done called Over Nine Waves, and she's kind of a little
Over
bit
Nine Waves is
yeah
wonderful.
yeah she's kind of a little bit in his shadow now, but in her own right, really great with a pen. Yeah.
excellent. So
we get away to
it's fine. I'm used to it. It's like this all day, right? Hi, I'd like, and then you just.
Please do carry on, Mark.
Yes, please do carry on. Yes, you and Scott should say some things from time to time.
We thought by putting Scott and I on each end, we could get control of this. It absolutely did not work.
Hey,
not working at
old
all.
friends sitting at tables like bookends.
Yeah.
That's you two guys right there. Yeah.
Oh, I
I
know.
honestly thought that Mark's version was just going to be to turn the pile of books to the camera and say some books.
Yeah, I got some books.
what I got.
See,
No,
this
carry
one
on,
called,
please, Mark. Carry on.
Sir Walter Raleigh, His Family and Private Life by A.L. Rouse again. Another one of his I haven't read. Lost control of the. And then this one here
wow.
made me think of Mupplewick.
Oh, of course.
Men-
Yeah, John. Yeah.
Yeah, Men of Marquis, Baltimore Privateers in the War of 1812.
Baltimore proud.
Yeah, John Phillips Cranwell and William B. Crane. Crane, I think.
As an aside, there's a guy I'd love to do a booktube chat.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even have to buy new
Yeah,
books. Just go through what
He
he's
strikes
got.
me as a good guy. On the next trip.
Absolutely, yeah. Against the Current, Essays on the History of Ideas by Isaiah Berlin. And I'm always a fan of reading his stuff.
Oh my God!
And then this, they have a whole shelf of these here, and I only got one, but Sean D. Stanfast has a huge collection of these. And I always brutalize this, the Hayklute Society, I guess I said it right. Sir Joseph Banks, Iceland and the North Atlantic, 1772 to 1820. Journals, letters, and documents.
Wow. Yeah.
It's got a nice, they're beautifully done, but it's got a nice little,
Nice frontis there, yeah.
Yeah, nice little frontis. So I was thrilled
Beautiful.
to get this. This will probably be at the top of the reading list right here.
So does the fact that Zach got me a lovely hardcover of this mean that I can go on about Anne Boleyn?
I mean, if you've anything more to say on the subject,
Ambling or ambling?
Ambling, yeah.
Ambling.
Rambling.
Rambling
Ambient for
ambling,
Anne
yeah.
Boleyn.
Oh man.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
an epic Brattle haul. You went through
They always are epic when they
50
come
books.
out.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. I believe the hype when Steve goes on ad nauseum about it. I was here last 20 years ago. I think it was about 20 odd years ago I was last in this shop, and it's an amazing place. Great resource for anyone who wants to pick some, just the variety of books.
I put an
It's astounding.
Instagram.
It's astounding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I put an Instagram picture of the highway sign that said Boston, and everybody on Instagram's going, "Are you going to the Brattle?"
Going to Brattle, going to Brattle,
Yeah,
going to Brattle,
yeah, I am actually. I didn't tell
Yeah.
him.
Hang on a second, Zach. Can we go now? Is that okay? Yeah, we said everything.
Did we do it? Yeah.
The staff's a bit dodgy. The shop is wonderful.
Put the hose away.
Oh, no. Yikes!
They ordinarily don't let me up here.
And just on a very selfish personal note, for about 10 years, this is kind of nearly 10 years in the making.
Yeah.
Getting myself and Mark and Steve in the same spot, and Scott
Yeah.
up from Utah.
I'm the pup, I guess.
I'm not saying you're the third wheel because
no,
you're
no,
the
no.
fourth guy,
I'm
but
the fourth wheel.
no, so happy that you're up here.
Every
man.
time he says
so
third,
nice
it
to
makes me
meet you.
jump.
Yeah, yeah, and
When the way he says it would be me. I think we can agree. But if it's third wheel, it would be me.
so it's been worth the little trip across the pond.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I always say,
sorts of
what
things
do I
have
say?
got in the way.
Book people are the best people.
That's
The
right.
pandemic got in the way. This
Yeah.
would have happened years ago.
I had the flights booked. Remember?
All right, so we got to go. So thank you, BookTube.
Thank you, BookTube.